The opening shot of the intertwining branches of the trees is inspired by the end shot on Malick's historical drama The New World. The shots focusing on the tree branches swaying show the isolation and eeriness we wanted to open our film with. Locations. We chose to film the dream sequence in a park, as it seemed a wide natural space that was empty enough to show the exclusivity of the dream of Margot and her subject, Eva. This contrasted well with the second location of the crowded house, where the atmosphere was still bleak, but slightly more claustrophobic, reflecting how Margot feels trapped in a comparison with her dreams of freedom. Our films took inspiration from other films with a similar dynamic between two female characters, one with a dominant personality and the other infatuated with her. Thrillers such as Girl Interrupted and Black Swan present this type of relationship as a focal point to their plot. We mainly conform to this theme of a thriller, as it is less common than other traditional aspects of the thriller genre, and therefore can be produced in our way without seeming repetitive. As the character Margot awakens, we purposely featured close-ups of her personal belongings, which we intended to give clues to the audience about her as a character and the slightly bizarre nature of the plot. The close-up of the medication on the table is specifically important as it establishes Margot's unstable nature and possible issues with mental health, suggested through the iconography. Inspiration for this came from Requiem for a Dream, where Sarah inspects her black market diet pills, and the camera uses a close-up of them lined up on the table. Our film is rooted in the psychological thriller genre, implied through the inclusion of pill iconography to denote the mental health issues experienced in the film. It gives an idea as to the later themes of the plot, similar to the opening of Seven, where the viewer sees a murderer indulging in obsessive record-keeping. Loosely based on Todorov's narrative theory, in which two characters begin in equilibrium, but a disruption leads to a series of events that cause tension, until finally resolved. Our narrative of obsession spiraling out of control echoes out of Black Swan, in which an already unstable female protagonist, living in isolation, begins to self-destruct as she becomes more infatuated with another character. Eventually all this tension implodes, but in our plot the main character has a revelation that leads to finding solace in her life. However, it is implied that she never finds complete peace. The use of mirrors visually represents the character's conflict with herself, not just the world around her. Many thrillers create suspense by featuring sequences in typical dusk and nighttime lighting, but we chose to have the sequence progressing through early morning lighting instead, that gradually gets brighter in parallel with the soundtrack. We decided on the title Margot, as it is simple and effective. We took inspiration from other thrillers that use a protagonist named as the title, such as Leon. We left out showing any interaction between Margot and her mother, so as not to overtly imply the damaged relationship between them, and instead suggest things about her more subtly, through the use of iconography. We've also shortened the amount of time we see Margot outside, focusing more on her home life, and thus establishing further intimacy with her.